Alright everybody, hello and welcome. As always, I am Sean. This is In The Mixer, episode 156 of our Isle of Man series. Happy Monday, wherever in the Lord you're watching from. Hope you had a great weekend. Now, I think on Friday, if I'm remembering correctly, I said we were going to come back and do some Premier League matches as part of today's episode. I kind of made a decision over the weekend not to do that, to jump forward to our Champions League knockout tie. Reason for that is, if we continue to get through these Champions League knockout stages, I want to try and bring you each leg in the episodes this week, because I think that's probably the key focus for the series. We're also still in the FA Cup. We're also still doing all right in our Premier League run. So if we do get knocked out of that competition, there's a whole bunch of football to still bring you guys. But I think I wanted to focus more on key and critical fixtures rather than fixtures that happen to fall in a particular calendar month and not wanting to jump too ahead. So we have jumped forward a fair bit and we have got quite a bit to recap. So I'm not going to worry too much of your time. Let's jump straight in and see how we've gone. So first and foremost, as you guys can see here, we're in 5th position in the league, which is a bit of a drop down. We've been as high as 3rd and then for a little bit 4th as well. Arsenal and Man United have been on 2 great runs, while we've had a really, really tough run of fixtures, which has seen us drop down into 5th spot. We are still 4 points clear of Brighton in 6th, so we're not in any danger of, I think, getting dragged into like a scrap for the European places. But really, we want to start setting our league focus on catching Arsenal, who are 5 points above us. So looking at our results in the last episode, we had a 1-0 defeat against Leeds and then a 1-1 draw with Real Madrid, which is a good performance. And then, of course, had our European knockout round draw for the match against Atletico Madrid, which will be brought to you today. We then beat Norwich 2-0 in a good performance, but then we had a really tough run of fixtures. We actually played Arsenal, Man City, Man United and Chelsea within the same 5-game period in the league itself. Now, you will note that's the 4 teams that are above us, which is why we've kind of dropped quite a few points. A 1-0 defeat to Arsenal, a 1-0 defeat to Man City, a 1-1 draw with Man United, which was a good performance, and a 2-0 defeat to Chelsea before again playing Man City for another defeat, 3-1. Now, this is where I started to kind of get a little bit frustrated that we weren't necessarily handling these big games, these key and critical games, because you think like if a couple of these results had maybe turned into draws or the draws had to turn into wins, we'd still be above Arsenal. We'd still be in the Champions League places. And around that, we had very good performances against the likes of Norwich, the likes of Everton. We beat Derby convincingly in the FA Cup with a very rotated squad. We beat Portsmouth in the FA Cup with a very rotated squad. And then we have gone on a little run since then. But that's basically on the back of me having a little bit of a tactical tweak and wanting to have kind of like more flexibility in the way that we move and our shapes and all that sort of stuff. I'll show you guys what I mean in a moment. So first and foremost, ignore the players and where they're at in a minute because they're going to move around. But 4-2-3-1 has been kind of our default for the last probably 10 seasons-ish. And before that, we had a very aggressive 4-2-4 shape, which we were using in the lower divisions to just smash through teams, basically to get the ball forward as quickly as possible, and if they were going to score 2, we were going to score 5. That was effectively the mentality that we used in the early parts of the season of this challenge, which I think is always an effective way to do it at a lower league structure. And this is still great. This is still what we kind of want to be our default because we've built a squad around this particular style and it suits us quite well in terms of our ball players and where we're using possession and where we're pushing 2v1 advantages and all that sort of stuff. I'm not unhappy with this, but what we need to develop further is plan Bs and then plan Cs. So what you guys have seen in the last couple of episodes is you've seen like this weird asymmetric formation that we've been doing. We're going to change our counter-attacking style to be a little bit more 4-4-1-1. So a few more bodies behind the ball, guys like Harold and Richard in wide areas, picking it up a little bit deeper and then moving forward with possession. Or if we need to, and it's on, Rivera releasing him a little bit earlier. The luxury is the number 10 player, which most of the time is going to be Haji. But if we want, we might also look at making that like a 4-1-4-1, potentially over the next couple of weeks, so that we've got something that kind of deals a little bit better with these top 4 away trips, like the away trips to Man City, to Chelsea, to Arsenal, to United. Those are the games where we haven't quite been getting the results that I think we need to. And going positive seems to hurt us because we tried that a couple of times. That's where Chelsea beat us 2-0, City beat us 3-1. Going counter-attacking, it does limit the chances that they have, but they still have the individual quality to finish those chances, which is why I've had so many 1-0 defeats. The other one, which is the one that we've been playing the last couple of games, is this 4-2-4. So it's kind of a bringing back of the old tactic that we used to use. And the other reason we're doing it is because Uli Schaefer and Pablo Rivera are both in relatively good scoring form at the moment. I want to try and get them both out on the pitch as much as possible. This is kind of derivative as well of an old Reckonists tactic. If you don't follow at Reckonists, check out the description below. I will put a link to his channel. He does some fantastic stuff. And it's effectively, I think it's either Maldini doesn't tackle or Scholes can't tackle. I can't remember which one it is, but it's a similar 4-2-4 structure with a little bit more of a pressing style so that you win the ball back and then as soon as you win it, you play it forward to try and catch their defensive line a little bit high or out of position or whatever else. And so far, it's actually had pretty good results for us. So since we made that adjustment to playing 2 up top and going back to that 4-2-4 style, we beat Brighton away from home, a very good 2-1 win. You can see Rivera getting amongst the goals. We beat Fulham 3-0 in a very good performance. Again, Rivera scoring pretty regularly, and Uli Schaefer getting a goal in a 3-0 victory over Watford as well. So we are finding the back of that with regularity. We're getting multiple scorers, which I think is always really important. And I think getting regular scoring is going to be big for us because we're at plus 20 goal difference, which is one of the better goal differences we've had at any point of any season in the Premier League. We want to try and start keeping up with these top 4 sides in terms of the goals that they score when they beat lower league sides or when they beat lower sides in the division itself. So just trying to be a little bit more malleable in terms of our shape, our structures, trying to have a couple of different cards up our sleeves to change and amend as we need to throughout the course of games and fixtures. That's the idea anyway. We'll see if it actually plays out that way. The challenge that we've got is we don't quite have, what I rather this was like a DLP and a box-to-box. We don't really have one. And I think we're also in a scenario where I don't really want to limit Hisham Haji's progression and his development by not playing a 10 regularly. So I don't know if it's a permanent solution or if we're going to try and bring someone in specific to this role, and maybe we start working with a squad of like 25 with players specific to roles in the team, rather than what we have now, which is effectively this 4-2-3-1 and 2 players for every position. Maybe that versatility is kind of what we're lacking in terms of being a top 4 side or a consistent Champions League side. It does mean he's not super comfortable in the Messiah role, but I want to keep trying to get him out there. We do have Lind available on the bench. You can see down here, we've got a few injuries at the moment that we're going to work through. But I think we're going to give this a go for the home leg against Atletico Madrid. And then for the away leg, we might go with our cautious mentality a little bit more, get him playing at the 10, get a little bit more defensive structure in midfield, and try and keep possession a lot more to keep the ball away from them as they hopefully, if we get a good result in the first leg, chase some sort of second leg result. Now, this one for you guys is going to be relatively quick, but for me, it's going to be an absolute monster because we're going to play the Atletico Madrid game. I'm going to play the Arsenal, Norwich and Leeds games off screen, as well as the Everton match in the FA Cup. And then we're going to come back and do the second leg in today's episode as well. So we've got a whole bunch of different football to get through. I've got a very long session of recording to go. But magic of editing, let's jump forward to the lineups for Atletico Madrid. So jumping forward, we're going with this 4-2-4. We're going to see how we get on. We do have the 4-2-3-1 up our sleeve. We do have the counter-attacking style up our sleeve. We need to defend a lead. But it's going to be Mancini in goal. Abdesamad and Touz as the defensive partnership. Both Esteban and Warburton have knocks at the moment, so Touz is going to get a very rare Champions League appearance. Lucas Gabriel fills in at right back. But it is an attacking wing-back option, so hopefully he's going to be able to join up with Richard and get down that line pretty easily. Carlos Andre at left full-back. Henri will take up the role of anchoring midfield, playing as a DLP on defend alongside Haji as a Messiah, getting forward or moving laterally to try and knock balls around. Harold on the left wing as an inverted winger. Richard on the right as an out-and-out right winger. Schaefer as a deep-lying forward, and Rivera leading the line up top. So it still gets all our key performers out there. Gabriel's still our leading assist maker for the season. Andre's not far behind. Henri, our highest average rated player. Rivera, our leading scorer. None of that has changed. They're all still in like decent roles for what we're asking them to do, but it's hyper aggressive. They're playing a 4-2-3-1. Now this isn't Diego Simeone's Atletico Madrid, and I think they previously had Allegri as well. It is Paulo Sousa, who I think at the start of the database is manager at Bordeaux. Then he was the Portuguese national side manager. He was at Wolves, Arsenal, Milan and PSG before joining Atletico Madrid. Not a bad manager by any stretch, and they've got a good squad. Main ones that we're going to highlight are Ogbu, who is their leading assist maker for the season. He looks decent. He's a number 10 by trade. They're playing him a little bit deeper in midfield by the look of things. 4-star current and potential ability. Good passing attributes, good mental attributes in here as well. Decent physical stats, but nothing super aggressive, nothing super scary. 26-year-old Spanish international. They got Fuentes at the 10, who is their top goal scorer for the year. He looks a little bit more like a creative player. Good dribbling, good long shots, good passing. Decent mental attributes, 18 decision making and off the ball is impressive. 17 vision's not bad for a guy pulling the strings, and he's got some good physical traits as well. 18 agility, 16 pace and stamina. 24-year-old Argentine under 20 international, no full caps to his name, but 4-star current ability and potential as well. So decent, but not super spectacular. And then their captain in goal, we'll have a look at him, Bruno, 31-year-old Spanish international, just shy of 100 caps as things stand. He looks very, very good. 4.5-star current ability and potential ability. Super, super solid at keeping attributes, good mental attributes, good physical attributes as well. World-class goalkeeper, so he must be one of the best goalkeepers in world football. And in 328 games for Madrid, he's only conceded 277 goals, which is absolutely crazy. He looks to be a very, very good prospect. Assertively, we're going to tell everyone, go out there and carry straight on before you finish last match. We were very, very good against Fulham. It was only a 3-0 win, but it could have been like 5, 6, 7 if we had ever finished every good chance that we created. And we did rotate quite a bit. The likes of Fasterman played in that game. Santana played. Mateo played. Everybody getting a fair chunk of time at the moment in this part of the season. First highlight of the match, Haji with a wide free kick. Wide right area towards backstick. It's pinballing around. Rivera gets it back in. Falls to Harold though. Haji puts it back in towards Schaefer, and he is a good finisher, but that one just over the crossbar. And early days, 15 minutes or so, it's been all us. But they got a wide free kick. Ogbu goes back post. Pinballs around. Oliveira with a strike from the edge of the area. Thankfully, well and truly high and wide. Santos now with the throw. Finds Fuentes into Harold. Back to Santos again. Harold just needs to stand him up. Fuentes with a strike from a wide area. 18th goal of the season for him. An excellent finish, it must be said. We're going to check this one out in 3 dimensions. He's rifled it into the top corner from a kind of half angle, you would say. And it's Harold kind of get drags to the ball here. And Santos knocks it back for Fuentes. And he didn't have a whole lot to aim at, but he's absolutely leveled that one right into the top right-hand corner. And Mancini can do nothing about it at the near post. We're going to use the demand more shout with about 20 minutes played. And we might also try and pull out one more, get creative before the halftime whistle. It's not ideal. They have got an away goal and they have got the early advantage in the tie. Ball forward here to Lewis. Now Sagini. Left-hand side. Just stand him up, boys. Don't do anything silly. Backstick ball. Giovini with the header that time. Good save from Mancini. The highlight continues here. Long ball forward towards Richard. Flicked on towards Schaefer, but he's lost out. This might be the danger of this formation, is that there is a bit of a distance between the forward line and the defensive line, but good over the ball over the top for Rivera, and it's a poor finish. Keeper does quite well to save and push it out for the corner. Got that resulting corner now. Haji to take. Goes towards near post. Oliveira with a decent header away. Pretty comfortably dealt with by the Madrid defence. 10 minutes remaining and a half. We're going to use a get creative shout. Gabriel with the throw in. Finds Haji. Good deep ball towards backstick. Harold gets it in and he finds the second ball as well. I'm not sure if this was a phenomenal save from Bruno on that initial far post header, but Harold has done quite well to stay on his feet. Didn't do too well defensively in conceding the goal, but he's done very well here. Haji with a wicked ball. Harold, it's a phenomenal save from Bruno, it must be said, but it falls back to Harold again. Fox in the box, gets his left peg on it and slides it back home into the empty net. Wide free kick here for Atletico, and Lewis was trying to cut it back. Mancini did well to save and hold. Is that the end of the highlight? Ball out here to Richard. Seems to be consistently on at the moment. And we've released him on the right-hand side. He can beat a man in a 1v1 situation. Cuts it back towards Harold, whose first time effort was pretty decent. Hits the crossbar as it goes over. Was heading right for that top corner. We've come back into the game here a little bit, which is good to see. 2 minutes of additional time to be added on at the end of the first half. And we're through that now. So at halftime, 15 shots, 9 on target, 46% possession. 8 shots, 4 on target, 54% of the ball for Madrid. We've had probably about the same amount of highlights as well. Passionately, I'm going to say we've been the better team here. Keep doing what you're doing. And I'm going to passionately tell the front two that there's a lot more to come from them. No one has a horrific match rating, but there are a couple of players perhaps not performing to the best of their ability. Haji with the corner here towards front post, but it's headed away. Sagini looks to send Lewis in the channel. Just stand him up, boys. Lucas Gabriel should go across. Just stand him up. Don't do anything silly. Thankfully, he gets forced into a wide area where, of course, he throws a shot straight at Mancini. Wide throw in. Gabriel to take. Finds Richard. Can he cut the ball back? Schaefer comes to support. Gabriel on the overlap now. It's a poor cross. Egno has won it back for Luiz. And now Atletico surging forward. Just stand him up, boys. Henri with a wonderful run and challenge. Played back to Mancini now. Highlight continues in our possession. Now Abdesamad. Good ball over the top to Harold. And he sends Rivera into the channel. What can you do? Wide left area favours the left footer. And it's shut down well by the defence before they clear it away. Right, we're through the hour mark now. So we're going to hit pause. And we're going to have a look at these subs. So Richard hasn't had the greatest game. Maybe bring on Mateo on that side, or maybe we go to another inverted winger just to try and get them cutting inside and out of the way of the likes of Schaefer and Rivera. Carlos Andre's got a knock. We'll bring on Mejdu, wing back on attack. And I'm going to hold on to that last sub. You can see Schaefer's not playing particularly well. Henri's not playing particularly well. If I was going to make another save, it'd probably be Haji off for maybe Santana, who I think is the most comfortable Messiah we have in the squad. But it looks like Haji's not having a terrible game. We're going to assertively say our faith in you, get out there and make a difference. And then we're also going to use Old Faithful, get creative shout after an hour. It seems to usually do the trick in getting us a couple of chances. And 1-1's not dead in the water, but it does make it a bit more challenging in the second leg. It's the possession here for Atletico as well. Ball out to Sagini. Gabriel should go and just stand him up. Don't do anything silly. Crosses poor. Mancini comes out and claims. Now what can we do on the counter-attack here? If we move this to the left-hand side, we've got some space out there. They're definitely slanted towards their right. It's a poor clearance from Mancini. Ogbu in possession, back to Egno. He's getting quite a bit of ball at the base of midfield. Square ball to Lewis, and it's a good finish, to be fair. 14th goal of the season for him. Assist from Nicholas Gervini. And really, Mancini giving the ball away in a poor transition area has kind of set this up. We are leaving quite a few guys forward with the 4 up top. It's a square ball in. It's a good finish from Lewis, to be fair. Gets in front of the 2 defenders who weren't super far away. They did stay relatively tight, but a good finish. I guess the challenge that we've got is if we're attacking from the off, we don't really have the ability to go super aggressive. After that, we might make one last sub. Let's bring on Santana for Haji. Even though Haji's had a good game, then what else can we do? Maybe we can set some of these roles to attacking. Deep line forward on attack. Inverted wingers on attack. Mazzala on attack. Let's go with that. Passionately, I have faith in you. Get out there, make a difference. And then let's also use the get creative shout. We need to try and find an equaliser here, or this is going to be super challenging in the return leg. 4 minutes of additional time to be added on. Can we get any late shouts in? One more get creative shout. But we're through the 4 minutes that's been added on, and the referee calls full time. So in the end, we had 25 shots, 14 on target, 50% of the ball. For Madrid, 14 shots, 8 on target, 50% possession. They've done a bit better than we have. Assertively, we're going to say not happy with your performance, and at least everyone's responded positively, which I think is the most we could hope for. And it does mean we have to win away at Atletico Madrid, which isn't going to be the easiest task. Man made to rumours chances. We did create a bit. Fuentes got the man of the match award, an 8.3 match rating with his goal. Carlos Andres picked up a knock, but only 1 to 2 days, so that's not too bad. Right, now we have to kind of look forward a little bit. All right, so first thing we're going to do is adjust our tactic. We're playing Arsenal away from home, so we're going to go back to this 4-2-3-1. Might drop Schaefer to the bench. I think he struggled the most of the other two. We'll bring on David Lynn, just a bit more steel in midfield. We also get Fontana back from suspension as well, so we might frisbee a couple of these things around. Gabriel can play on the right-hand side. Fontana can come back into the lineup. Richard can drop to the bench. And how far away is Esteban? 4 days. Warburton's 4 to 9 days. Miller, so we might have to get another game out of 2s as well. We'll put them in their preferred roles, and then we're also going to go into that squad, and the guys that are starting, we're going to give them 1 day's rest just to make sure that they are back over 90% condition before the Arsenal game. Of course, I don't know why I'm showing you this portion, because you guys aren't going to see any of it. We're going to play Arsenal off screen, we're going to play Norwich off screen, we're going to play Leeds off screen and Everton off screen in the FA Cup, and we're going to come back for the second leg against Atletico Madrid. Magic of editing, we're going to jump forward to that now. All right, just like that, we're a couple of weeks ahead. Now, we have come back to a different screen. It's not actually the lineups. We'll go through our results. Of course, we played Arsenal. We won 1-0 using our counter-attacking tactic. I'll show you that one in a bit more depth in a moment. We then beat Norwich, playing our 4-2-3-1, positive structure. An 89th minute winner from Esteban from set piece, which is great. And then we played Leeds, where we again scored in the 88th minute, Paul Harold getting the goal in that one. And then we played Everton, and it was a come-from-behind 2-1 victory. They went ahead to an early goal. It was pretty balanced as far as the game's concerned. And then we got to switch our tactic to go to our 4-2-4 attacking. Uli Schaefer with the double, 83rd minute and 86th minute. What you can see here in these games is that we've kind of changed and adjusted our structure for the course of the game and how we're doing and what we want to be trying to do. So we've been able to kind of change and adjust to push to get late winners in certain games. We've changed and adjusted to try and get more players in final third areas to find the finish. And when we've been in positions where we're losing going until the end of games, we've been able to turn it around by making that adjustment. That's the hope. And that's really the thing, I think, the key development for us in the remaining 10 games of the season, or whatever we've got in the Premier Division, plus all our cup competitions as well. Now, the scenario after losing 2-1 in the first leg means I think we have to win by a 2-goal margin in this return leg. The way we're going to set up is pretty similar to the way we played against Everton, to be honest. We're going to go with this cautious mentality to start with, this counter-attacking one, which got us the good result against Everton, got us the good result against Arsenal as well, a top 4 side, which is what we're trying to develop here. When it wasn't working, with about 30 minutes remaining, we switched it up, went to our 4-2-4. If we get to the same situation where we're maybe 0-0 at half-time, or we haven't created a whole lot, we'll just go hell for leather in the second half and try and go to something super aggressive like this. But we're going to start with this shape and this formation to begin with. So, looking at the 2 lineups, we've got Mancini in goal. Esteban comes back into the side alongside Abdesamad. He's playing as a stopper now, alongside Abdesamad as a covering defender. Carlos Andre at left wing back, Fontana at right wing back. Lind will anchor midfield, a bit more steel in there than what we had last time out, with Haji playing a bit deeper. Santana will play alongside him with Arnaud Henry out suspended due to yellow cards. Harold on the left wing, who's been in a good run of form. Lucas Gabriel on the right, our leading assist maker for the season. Haji at the 10 and Rivera, our leading scorer up top. They have gone to a 4-3-1-2, which I think actually suits us. They're going to play a little bit narrower. They had Egno and Ogbu getting quite a bit of the ball at the base of midfield in the first tie. I think they're just looking to keep it around that area and get these two out as early as possible. It's going to leave big spaces in wide areas, which is what we want. Harold will get forward, Carlos Andre will get forward, Rivera as an advanced forward will be moving side to side, and Haji playing in kind of a free advanced playmaker role, he should be moving into little pockets of space as well. I think it's a good matchup for the formations that we're going with. But, time will tell. Passionately, we're going to say, I know a lot of you have been keen to avenge what happened last time we played Atletico Madrid, and they've responded positively. I'm going to assertively tell Rivera I've got faith in him, and he seems motivated. If we're going to score, we need our striker to be playing well. And while he hasn't had a bad season by any stretch, he hasn't quite set it on fire the way he did in our Europa League campaign last year. But I guess Champions League is a higher quality competition. First highlights in the first 2 minutes here, and it was a long ball forward for us, but now Atletico back in possession. Lewis and Giovini, who connected for a couple of the goals in the first leg. Now Fuentes sends it out wide right to Jonathan. The fullbacks are getting further forward, and Carlos Andres won it back in a good area. That might be our key transition area. If their fullbacks are going to bomb on, we might be able to get goal side in wide areas pretty quickly. And Carlos Andre has done that now. Left-hand side, what can he do from the wide area? He's clipped the outside of the post. Rivera's going to try and get there first. Does very well, actually, to keep it in. But then Lambert recovers possession for Atletico Madrid, and the highlight comes to an end. That's good. That's what we want to see. If their fullbacks are there with and bombing on, it's going to give us an opportunity in wide areas to try and find some space. All right, deep goal kick taken by Bruno. Across now to Mossman. We don't have to set the press too high, boys. You're welcome to drop off a little bit. Invite them forward. Ogbu out. Back to Egno. Now switch out to Lambert. And again, the fullback are getting very, very aggressively forward. Egno looks like he's sitting the deepest in midfield. Harold's won the ball back in a good area. Haji can send it out wide right, but it's cut out. Lind will recover possession for us and played out wide right to Lucas Gabriel. He's excellent 1v1 situations. What can he do? Wide right area. Backstick ball towards Harold and the header just over the crossbar. Tell you what, an early goal would be great to try and put some pressure on Atletico Madrid to come out and maybe play the game a little bit further up the pitch. Lambert now, left wing. Gabriel can track him. Giovini. Back to Egno. I'm fine with them having the ball there. Just let them have it. Don't get dragged into pressing too high. Lambert on the overlap. Cut back to Oliveira. You can see here they're leaving like 3 guys right at the base of midfield and 2 central defenders back. Giovini with the header just beyond the far post. So they're still a danger, but they are sitting pretty deep in those 2 blocks. It's a block of 2 with the fullbacks pushing on, and then 3 midfielders sitting at the base. We're going to use a get creative shout with about 15 minutes remaining in the half. If we get a goal here, it's going to make it very interesting as to what we do going into the second half. Lind, Esteban, now to Carlos Andre. Can we get the ball forward? Esteban, good pass to Haji, splits the lines quite nicely. Back to Carlos Andre again. Santana, we're not rushing it here, but I am concerned they're going to win the ball back in a good position and launch an immediate counter. Santana, Haji, good reverse pass to Harold. What can he do? Wide left area. Can he find the cutback? He goes to strike himself. Bruno equal to it. Bruno's a very good goalkeeper. I don't see him conceding from one of those wide area shots anytime soon. We've had good passage of play. About 4 minutes remaining in the half. Egno with the ball. Goes near post towards Fuentes, and it's found its way in. That's, I think, a goalkeeping error. We're going to check this one out in 3 dimensions. Mancini with the goal. Mancini in goal for us. I think he got something on it. Gabriel goes to ground when he didn't really need to. Egno goes near post, and Fuentes, Mancini probably could have done a lot better. I think if he had stood up, just stayed standing and gone like this, he'd have saved it, but instead he went for the dive. And it's not great. Probably doesn't do very well for the tie, overall speaking. So, halftime, 7 shots, 3 on target, 41% possession for Atletico. 3 shots, 1 on target, 59% of the ball for us. I feel like we've had more chances than the shots are reflecting. We're going to go into the dressing room. Aggressively, we're going to say, I expect to see a much better showing from you. And then tactically, we're going to go attacking at halftime, which is a very aggressive time to do it. I know that. Santana's been one of our better performers, which I find very interesting. Haji hasn't played fantastically well. Rivera hasn't played well. Fontana, Gabriel haven't played well either. But I'm just going to make the 1 halftime sub. So we'll leave Santana as the DLP and we'll play Lind, or maybe I should switch that around. Yeah, let's go with that. Santana can go to the Messiah. Lind can go to the DLP because he's a bit better suited to the defender role. And let's switch the centre backs as well so that Esteban's the stopper. Going to have to keep an eye on Lucas Gabriel, who hasn't had a good game. We do have both Richard and Mateo on the bench if we need to. What we're also going to do is we're going to immediately use a get creative shout as well. Give everyone some inspiration. If we get an early goal here, so 2-1 actually sends us through to extra time, which will be very interesting. But as things currently stand, we would be out of the Champions League in the first knockout round, which isn't what we want. Giovini, wide left area, and it wasn't a bad effort. It wasn't far away from that far post. All right, I'm going to hit pause. We've got 30 minutes remaining. Rivera's not played well, but I really don't have much flexibility wide areas. Gabriel has had a poor game. Now, what do we want to do? Do we want to bring on Richard, who's probably a bit better in 1v1s, or do we want to bring in Mateo, who can play as an inverted winger? Let's kind of do half of each, and let's say Richard, but let's say an inverted winger so that he's stepping into this area rather than trying to go around the outside, and then that opens up space for Fontana to bomb on. At least that's the idea up here. We'll see if it actually plays out that way. Assertively, I have faith in you, and then we're also going to use Old Faithful, get creative shout after an hour. Everyone seems inspired, which is good, but we need everyone to find the back of the net. We've got a corner here. Harold to take into a good area. Luan with the header away. Now Oliveira comes forward for Atletico. And they're good in these transitions. They get forward very quickly. They've got numbers on the far side. Santana's gone through him. We're going to go down to 10 men, aren't we? Our Champions League campaign is pretty much just going to go out with a whimper, it feels like. All right, we've got one more sub up our sleeve. What do we want to do? Do we want to leave this super aggressive tactic, or do we want to maybe bring off Schaefer? Rivera hasn't played well either. Okay, let's go with this. Let's take off Rivera. Let's bring on Fasterman in midfield. And assertively, I have faith in you. Let's go with that. Can I pull out another get creative shout? I'm just spamming get creative at this point. It's just button bashing to the worst extent. All right, 10 minutes remain. We're going to use a demand more shout. It's going to be a very, very late rally if we are going to pull anything back in this match. But we do have a deep throw in. Right-hand side, Fontana to take. Forward to Richard. Ball over the top for Schaefer. He's got a lot of work to do, but he has gotten goal side. Can he find the finish? It's a poor effort. For a guy with 19 finishing and I think like 18 composure, you'd think maybe he'd find one of the bottom corners. 3 additional minutes to be added on at the end of this one, and we're through that now. It's a disappointing defeat. I'm not going to lie. In the end, Atletico Madrid, 15 shots, 6 on target, 44% possession, 10 shots thrown on target, 56% of the ball for us. Maybe we got it wrong in the first leg. I think that was what really killed us in the end. Madrid go through 3-1 on aggregate. Assertively, I'm just going to say that wasn't good enough, and at least everyone's responded positively, which is good. So, what was intended to be a full week of Champions League football falls at the first hurdle, which is a bit disappointing, and it doesn't look like it's been a great tournament for any of the English sides, really. So, we're out, Arsenal are out, Leeds make it through, which is interesting, United make it through, and City make it through as well in their contest. Madrid are out, Schalke have beaten them, Valencia beat Feyenoord, Stuttgart beat Porto, and Barcelona beat Arsenal. I already kind of read that one out, didn't I? That's frustrating. FC Isle of Man defeat in UEFA Champions League first knockout round, so that's not bad. I guess it is our first go in that competition. I shouldn't complain too much. We get 9.5 million euros. I've still got it set to euros because of a network save that I'm in at the minute. Santana gets a one-match ban. Rivera now hasn't scored in 9 hours of competitive football. I did not realise that, which is nice and interesting. I guess the bonus that we've got, so we're out of the Carabao Cup, we're out of the Champions League, we won the UEFA Super Cup, now we want to try and continue maybe an FA Cup run as the remainder of the week, which effectively means we go straight into our next game. So we've got Liverpool at home, which I think is going to be a very interesting match, given that they are a strong side on paper but haven't performed particularly well this season, down in 11th spot. They had a poor season last year as well. And then we might bring you our FA Cup quarterfinal match and maybe make it like the rest of the week kind of FA Cup centric, which if we get through, and we've had a good draw, Burnley are down in the Championship. If we get through, that probably sets up, a semi-final appearance in the FA Cup. We've got some big games in the run home in the Premier Division as well. We have thankfully played the majority of the top 6 sides. Tottenham's probably the best team that we have remaining to play. But still, a lot of football to come and a lot of football to fill out the rest of the week. Not the result we were looking for, but, we could just pick ourselves back up and go again. That's the game sometimes. Shit happens. Our Premier League form's really good, though, so we should probably focus more on that and making Champions League football again for a second successive season. And, of course, after 2 years of finishing in 6th position in the league, really pushing forward and finishing in the top 4, I think, is kind of considering sort of being a trophy if we take that Arsene Wenger style of thinking. And we do still have FA Cup competition that we can bring you guys as well throughout the course of the week. So there's a whole bunch more stuff to come on the channel throughout the course of this week. As always, guys, I love the continued support that we've gotten on this series. I do appreciate it a tremendous amount. If you've got updates on your own saves you want me to see, I think we've got a Season 1 to save next week. Drop in the comment section below any teams that you want to see. As always, so much of our feedback or what you see on the channel is driven by your feedback, is what I'm trying to say. But more than anything, I just appreciate you guys watching. That's the part that means the most to me. As always, I've been Sean, and I'll see you all again in the mixer.